A little bit longer. Is Craig in here yet? No? I have a few questions to answer.
Yeah, there's a couple in the Facebook group too.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Look at Peter. Nice. How was Hannah?
Bendigo.
Yeah.
It was good. The kids did really well.
What
it's more
age group
stressful
did
being
you
a
guys
coach
have?
than it is being an athlete, though.
Ah?
It's more stressful being a coach than it is being an athlete.
Yeah, it is. Can't really relax. What was your age group that you're coaching?
Under 15s.
Oh, nice.
So.
How did Hannah go?
Hannah who?
Is that Hannah?
The physio. Yeah, she was good. Yep.
That's good.
Kept them all on the court.
It's a bit of a stretch for the business, but we were happy that she went.
Yeah, no, she did a good job.
She really likes volleyball. So just for background, my physio at our clinic went to Bendigo with Peter for nationals for volleyball.
Yep.
Who are we missing? Craig usually jumps in. Glenn is here. Is this Clint? Who is this dark room person?
Matt's in his ambulance somewhere or something.
No, that's Matt, but oh, that's Clint. I knew it.
Yeah. He's saving money on electricity.
Yeah. I might start with the basics. So far, anyone struggling with anything with My Body Science with the plan, needing any help?
Yep, someone put something in the chat just earlier. Did you see that?
About not seeing results?
Jason did.
Yeah, I'll talk about that when I talk about tracking your progress. Still heaps of people coming in. So, Clint, how are you going? I think he was told to be silent today. I miss him talking. Hey Glenn.
Hey,
all right, let's start with the first part, which is the food as a social, cultural, and emotional thing in our lives. For the guys that were here last challenge, you know very well that I think food is very important. As part of my culture is a very nurturing. You basically cook for people if they're sick, if they're happy, if they're sad. We always cook for people. But if you think about how food is perceived, especially by mums and dads, food is a very nurturing thing, and there's a reason for that. There's a lot that you can cure and help and improve with food. So the first thing that I want everyone to understand in this challenge is that we're not here to cut foods that you like. We're not here to make your social life hard. We're not here to make your family meals very difficult. We're here to learn how to eat with what fits our lives in many ways. We had a few people last year that had different diet requirements. Some people that needed to add bread to their meals because they love bread, and it's easy for me to do that. So I will put on the Facebook group a few things that if you want to swap and change something, just let me know and I would help you to do that. It doesn't need to be you can never eat bread again. You can't fit pizza at all. We can definitely learn how to fit everything in. So the plan should be something that is fitting with your family. I don't want anyone sitting on the corner of the table eating chicken salad and not having a meal with the family. The whole point of the My Body Science plan is that you have everything there and you can take your portions out of that, so you can cook for your whole family using that tool to cook for the whole family. So everyone is eating together. Very important part of eating is to have that family time. Have a quiet sit down time with the family. Sit down to eat. Don't eat in front of the TV. Don't eat doing something else. Don't eat doing work. Have a quiet time and try to start thinking of what you're gaining from that food, what you're enjoying about the food, what you don't enjoy as much and you probably won't do it again. But perceive your food in different ways and start thinking about your food. There's a lot of studies on how we eat and how our body process food a lot better if you thinking about the food. And also making the food is really important. Just the process of making food is something that our body starts to know how to deal with that food that is coming. So touching, colors, crunchiness, different textures, this is all really important to give your brain signals that different things are coming through and that it can deal with it a lot better. So I think that social part is really important. I don't want anyone to go out and not be extremely restricted. One thing that's really important here is that if you guys go out and you have a pizza on a Saturday, I don't want anyone starving themselves until the lunch and then not eating afterwards. Just go on as usual, okay? A pizza was the pizza for lunch. No one cares. Keep going. If it's KFC, even though I don't like it, Ariel, sorry. Even though I don't like it, move on. Don't beat yourself up. Don't starve yourself afterwards. One thing that I noticed from the session last week is that everyone's sort of naughty corner was to do with food. And that concerns me a lot because I feel like a lot of people beat themselves up always about food. And as Clint will probably talk about it, overtraining is just as a big part of feeling guilty about what you're eating and what you're doing. So we are trying to change behaviors, but we're also trying to not feel guilty about everything that you're eating. Okay, think about what you're eating. It don't eat it because you know, like Luke was saying, I just had a Coke and biscuits because I felt like it. Start thinking about it. Why am I having it? And if you have it, deal with it in a way that is positive. Okay, I needed this. I had a hit. I feel like shit now. I can't deal with it. Like, it's clearly not good for me. Next time, tomorrow, I'll bring a banana and a few berries. Even though it's a bit extra from my plan, it's going to help me deal with it. Okay. So that emotional side of food is really important. It's really normal for everyone to attach everything to food. There's some incredible people that forget to eat when they're nervous. I don't know how you do that. I can't stop eating. Seriously? How do you do that? My life crumbles if I don't eat. Like, I eat breakfast already thinking of lunch. Like, it's like we say, like, in my family, we organize our day around food. Doesn't matter where we are, if we're on holidays, if we're not. So everyone attaches a lot of emotional components to food, and that's normal. That's funny because I've had a few conversations with professionals and no one noticed that, but I usually have a lot of issues with females and especially mums when it's to do with nutrition, because mums feel very confronted when I try to explain nutrition to them, because it's part of our being to look after someone, to nurture. It's part of our being to understand food. So everyone thinks they need to understand food and they feel really guilty when they don't. But it's hard, and especially with how food is being produced at the moment. We don't really know what's going into things. So not everyone, I've been studying nutrition for, I don't know, I feel so old when I try to count it, but at least 15 years. And I still have to read labels all the time. I still have to read articles. I still need to keep up with what's coming out. So not understanding everything about food is fine as well. Okay. And like, I really want to detach that emotional, like that guilt, that emotional guilt attached to food. Enjoy food. Food is meant to be a beautiful thing. So that is the first part. Do we have any questions on that? No? So going into that, I already talked about it, but under eating. So under eating is something that we do it, everyone does it. And surprise, surprise, it actually makes you put on weight and stress your body out a lot more if you're eating less. So one of the really important things with this plan and this challenge is that I want you guys to eat food, but I want you guys to spread it out properly. I want you to build beautiful plates that are colorful, but I want you to eat. So one of the first things with eating too little is that you're going to stress your body out, especially for females. That does not work for us, and for males as well. But that increases your cortisol, which is the stress level. That increases your insulin resistance. It just makes life a lot harder for you. So food coming in and out of your body, sorry, it does come out as well. Pink if you have beetroot powder daily basis. But food coming in and out and your body having to deal with that, your metabolic rate, so the metabolism, the calories that you burn throughout the day is going to be a lot higher. So you need to have that going through your system and your body having to deal and digest food, and having the food to be nourished as well. So under eating is not going to do anything else for you. I will talk about tracking your progress soon, but a lot of people don't see results and they start freaking out and cutting on foods. Do not cut anything from the plan that you guys got. I always mention poo, Peter. Do not cut out food. If you do that, you're actually going to throw your progress backwards. So trust the process. Keep eating and focus on the quality of the food. Under eating is not going to do anything for you. We get into a vicious cycle of, I ate pizza last night. I always talk about pizza. Let me think of something else. I ate fish and chips last night. I feel horrible by myself. I'm going to wake up in the morning and do 3 hours of cardio, and I'm not going to eat until lunch, and then I'll have a salad for lunch, and then at night I'm eating a whole block of cheese while I'm trying to cook my steak and veggies. So I think everyone has been through that. It doesn't work. Your body will crash. Your energy will be lower. You're going to work less. You're not going to function throughout the day. Your metabolic rate is going to drop, so you're actually burning less calories throughout the day, and your body doesn't have the energy to deal with that not so good food that you had the day before. Your body needs to be strong to deal with it. If you're nourished and you're eating well, your body will deal with fish and chips or KFC or pizza or whatever it is. Every now and then your body will be able to deal with it. But if you're eating the foods that are, we call inflammatory, so like deep fried foods and the processed foods that will stress your body out, and then you're stressing your body out without eating and not nourishing your body properly, it's going to deal with it in a less efficient way. Does that make sense? So if you're nourished, your body will deal with sugars and will send the insulin response the way it has to be. It will deal, your digestive system will deal with it, will get rid of it through your stool and get rid of toxins with it. Everything works really well together. Doesn't matter if you're eating your shitty food every now and then. Now, if you're starving your body and having the shitty food, your body will really struggle to do that. We need to be stronger for our body to deal with everything that comes with our environment, not just food, but pollution, everything. Okay? Does it make sense?
Yeah, so Tats, what foods would you consider to be the most inflammatory, and what are the substitutions maybe for those kind of things?
Yeah, so definitely most inflammatory, and that has a lot of carcinogenic compounds to it, is deep fried foods. The fast food outlets, unfortunately, that's why I hate them. They use something that we call trans fat. So if you think of the oil that you have at home, if you fry a lot of things with that oil, it goes darker. For the fast food outlets, to get rid of that, they use a fat that is white, is a fat that we introduce hydrogen. It doesn't matter. It will change the chemistry of the fat. So the fat doesn't go brown, but that fat, your body can't deal with it. So and also that fat in higher temperature has a lot of carcinogenic compounds, so it's very stressful for your body. So deep fried foods, processed meats. I actually did a post. I still have the post that I did for the challenge last year. I'll put that up. Processed food, processed meats, carcinogenic group 1. So they're the same group as cigarettes. So sausages, bacon, any like of those processed meats are not great. I'm not saying never have it, but have it with some veggies. Make sure you're not consuming them every day, and have a lot of water with it to help clean the system, because they're full of salt as well. Processed sugars and flours as well. That's why I really get annoyed when people try to tell me that a bowl of colorful cereal is the same as a bowl of rolled oats. The sugars that are there are completely different, and your body deals with them completely differently. Even though the sugars can be the same, for example, in a soft drink and fruit, the fruit contains fibers, contains a lot of antioxidants, a lot of functional compounds that will actually help your body deal with that sugar. So the reaction of your body to those foods is completely different. So I'm going to start talking about it now, calories versus quality of food. For everyone that knows me knows I'm really big on quality of food. But yeah, so processed meats definitely get to the normal cuts that you know where they're coming from. If you look at a meat and it has more than 5 ingredients, get out of it. It shouldn't be there. What was the other thing? Deep fried foods. Try to have like the air fryers are really good now. Everyone is loving it at the moment. I make mine in the oven, so I put my oven at 270, and I guess it's sort of like an air fryer, which is just a little bit of oil. Processed flours and sugar, just go for natural stuff. Go for whole flours, go for wholemeal breads, go for like oats, quinoa, brown rice, the whole grains rather than the processed flours. Yeah? Who said it? I'm not wrong. Unfortunately, I guess it's just because what we call bacon is a processed meat, but the cut of the pork is not as bad. My issue is not with the fat, is what they put on the meat to keep the meat.
Shush.
To make the meat in a way that you can eat it. You failed my challenge, by the way, Clint. You can't put bacon and do my challenge, but I'll consider. Yeah, I think it's not, I don't think they call it bacon, but you can definitely get the cut of the pork that has the belly fat, but it's not processed. So it's not that shiny pink thing. So whatever they use to keep the meat red is called nitrates, and they are not good for us, because as soon as you cut the meat, because the blood flow has been cut, that meat is meant to start going brownish, which is normal, but no one would buy a brownish meat in the supermarket. So they put nitrates in it to keep it red. Yeah? Any questions? Megan's smashing a steak there right now. I love it. Last meeting I was smashing some kangaroo steak as well while Lucas was talking.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move.
Yeah. On Andrea's question, that was sort of question. Obviously, I'm having a dig at you, but the nitrate-free bacon, right, or nitrate-free meats, what does that actually mean, and what does it do?
Is that a thing now?
Nitrate-free meat, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So nitrate is what they use to make the meat nice and red.
But
that is really not even what.
Like the bacon still looks the same, the pork still looks the same.
It depends on what they're using, because they can say it's nitrate free, but then they're using something else. They can use dyes, they can use a lot of other things, and that's the tricky part, is like, you know, find a butcher, like an organic butcher that will do the cut, and you know they're not putting anything in it, because they don't actually even have the means to be processing food and using those sort of chemicals.
Yep. Yeah, Trace.
Yeah.
Trace has just asked a question there as well. Is that the same as organic meat?
No, because organic meat is really tricky because they change it all the time. But basically, you pay for the seal. But I think organic meat is to do with how you raise the
animal.
Yeah, not with what you put in it afterwards. It's like the apples. You know how we found out that the apples are full of wax to make them shiny? And then Coles came out with a bag saying no added wax, but if you scrape it, you can still get the wax. So they got the farmers to add the wax. So Coles only packs it so they can claim it that is wax, like no added wax. So yeah. Anyway, that's some food systems for you. But yeah, just maybe having a butcher is a better way. The wild animals are still quite good. So I eat kangaroo, but there's a lot of other wild animals that, because they're not farmed, and they don't have any added to them, depending on the ones that you get. They might have a few worms, but we'll survive. We'll have mint tea. All right, Matt just asked for non-stimulant supplements to increase thermogenesis. So very quickly, for who doesn't know, thermogenesis is the increase of heat production in your body. So we usually want to increase thermogenesis because we increase the amount of calories we're burning. So throughout the day, about 70% of the calories you need throughout the day is called metabolic basal metabolic rate, which is what you need just to live, just so your body can turn cells over. Supplements that increase thermogenesis, or food increase thermogenesis, will actually help you boost that metabolism, boost that metabolic rate, and make you burn more calories throughout the day, which for fat loss is fantastic, because the time that you lose, you using fat as energy is when you're sitting down. So during exercise, we usually use glycogen, which is sugar in our muscles, and then protein if you haven't eaten properly and you don't have enough storage of that glycogen. But fat, we're really gonna get into the fat storage after we stop and we at rest, and then our body has time to go through our fat storage. Anyway, I completely got out of the topic. A few foods that are natural thermogenics: ginger, turmeric, chili. I add chili to everything. Ginger, if you make a ginger, beetroot, and watermelon juice, that is the best natural pre-workout you can have. It will increase thermogenesis, it will increase blood flow. The watermelon and the beetroot work together to increase blood flow even more. So yeah, ginger, turmeric, coffee, cacao powder, pure cacao powder is thermogenic as well. What else? Can we think of anything else? Caffeine is a natural one. Guarana will have caffeine as well, and stimulants, so it's non-stimulant free. But yeah, adding chili and spices, herbs and spices, as it says, it will spice it up. And if you're like my husband, you sweat it out when you're eating it. I'm such a Brazilian cooking. Like, I put a little bit of chili, I can't even taste it, and then I look to my side, and my husband is literally like he needs to dry himself up because he's sweating so much. But it does increase the heat production in your body. So and that's something that is in the plan as your extras, because I really want you guys to explore that. I really want you to, if you're having chicken every day, that's okay, but then you're having different spices and herbs that will help with the taste, but also help your body deal with different things, full of antioxidants, full of anti-inflammatory compounds, and also increase thermogenesis. Are you about to go, Matt? I feel like Matt is about to get a job. No. Is that good, Matt? Did you hear it? I don't think you can hear.
Sorry, I'm back. My headphones went flat.
Did it answer your question?
Yeah. I got the chili, turmeric, and ginger and watermelon sort of juice sort of stuff. Yeah, just mindful with like I want to take and have that thermogenic effect, but still be able to get to sleep in the afternoon before a night shift or something like that without bombing.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
because they do increase your body heat, it might make you struggle to sleep as well. So you're also gonna need to be careful with that. It's a lot less than caffeine, but you will notice that if you heat up your body too much, your body needs to, as you know, your body needs to cool down to be able to sleep as well. So apparently the perfect, I don't know if you know that, but the perfect temperature for a human to fall asleep is 19 degrees. So if you need to do that, just put aircon on and hopefully you can sleep. But yeah, it might increase it same way. But one thing that is really easy is to make a protein shake with some cacao powder. I make in the morning banana, ginger, turmeric, and a bit of orange as well with some honey. Just for immunity, but also to get my body going without having to have another coffee, because I have a strong thermogenic. I have our shred in the morning to go for a run, and then I come back and I need a little kick so I can get myself to work and wait 2 hours to have my coffee. So those little things will definitely help, and definitely chili in your and some spices on your food.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Good. Any other questions on the eating and everything that we talked about? Peter, Adam is very hot. Calories versus quality of food. So I think it was a video from last week. What I want you guys to understand is that not every calorie is the same. There's a lot of talk about amount of calories you eat in a day and calories in and calories out, and that's all we need to do. The quality of your food is extremely important. So I'll use the same example, but there's I forgot what it's called. I think it was flexible diet, something like that. But basically everything they do is based on calories. So for them, above oats was actually worse than above what those Fruit Loop things, because above oats is actually really high in calories. But the above oats has a lot of fiber, has a lot of a little fiber that controls your cholesterol, controls your blood sugar levels during the day, whereas that Fruit Loop is full of colors that will actually upset your digestive system, that will make the spike of insulin worse, will give you hyperactivity, especially in kids as well, because of the colors. The sugars, processed fruit, so increases inflammation in the body. So don't go for that. What I'm telling you is always look at the quality of the food. Look for different colors. Different colors mean different vitamins, different minerals, different antioxidants. Look for fiber. Fiber is something that, especially if you're trying to lose weight, fiber is awesome because your body has to work really hard to break it down. So you're actually having those calories, but your body burns, depending on the food, for example, up to 40% of the calories that you're consuming actually burns just to be able to deal with that food. So nuts, for example, we can't explain why they're extremely high in calories, but all the studies that we've had trying to get people to put on weight, and they got lollies against one of the studies was really interesting because the first one was lollies against nuts, and they added an extra 400 calories of lollies or nuts in different groups, and they were eating 2,000 calories a day. The group with nuts actually lost weight, the cholesterol got a lot better, they blood sugar levels dropped, so it was perfect. So they're like, okay, so now they had the lollies group and then they have the nuts group, but the nuts group were actually consuming 400 calories more, and the lolly group was consuming 400 calories less, but still the lollies. The guys with the nuts group still lost weight, still cholesterol dropped, blood sugar levels dropped, We still don't fully understand how, but we believe that one is the fiber, the other one is the phytonutrients. So they are functional compounds that will help control blood sugar levels and cholesterol. So that shows that whole foods are always better because your body has to deal with them. That way you're burning a lot more calories. Is what we call the thermic effect of food. Your body actually has to burn calories and work to actually process that food. Yeah, does that make sense? If you think about it, an endurance athlete is not going to eat nuts and a piece of meat in the middle of the race because we need the energy like this. That means that your body actually has to spend energy to digest that. So when I'm doing a long race, I can only have like straight sugar, otherwise my body can't deal with it. Does that make sense? So what I want you guys to focus is following the plan is to look for the quality of the food. And even in the plan, you can still move around a little bit and look for the whole grain and look for the superfoods. We'll talk about superfoods in the next session, but always look for quality of food. Don't ever let anyone tell you that something is better than a whole food that is colorful and full of antioxidants and fiber because it has less calories than the natural food. Yes, promise, Clint. Any questions on that? The interesting thing here is that you make the food work for you and you're nourishing your body's getting all those nutrients that are super important, but you're still dropping weight, your guts are working, your brain is working, everything. And then once again, your body's stronger to deal with whatever you have in the environment, that being food, pollution, stress. Your body's just stronger to deal with it. Tracking progress. So we did have a question on the page this I think today. So someone is a bit frustrated because it's week 3. A lot of people posting positive things. Actually, we haven't posted any photos or anything. So I really don't want anyone to feel pressured. But reality is you're not going to see results at least until 4 weeks. A lot of people do because it's really a lifestyle change and then they lose water retention, they start to feel a little bit better, they move a little bit better, their gut is working a little bit better, so they're not as bloated. But
so they poo better.
Huh?
So they poo better.
They poo better. It makes a massive difference. Let me explain what happens. So when your gut's not working and you're not going to the bathroom properly, what happens is that your poo is very important to get rid of toxins and a lot of bad things that your body's trying to get rid of. So if you're dehydrated, if you're not eating well, if you're not eating enough fiber, and that stool is sitting in your gut system for too long, what happens is that those toxins start to get reabsorbed into the body. I don't know if you guys go to the bathroom every day, but if I don't go to the bathroom for half a day, if I don't go to the bathroom in the morning, I'm jumping around the house and I refuse to leave the house until I go to the bathroom because I feel terrible. You feel bloated. You feel really stressed. It's because your body is actually reabsorbing toxins. So one thing that can see people seeing results really quickly is starting to get fiber and water and your guts start to work. That can make a massive difference. Your body is not holding as much water, unnecessary water anymore, and you're not as bloated. You don't have as much toxins, so you're not as swollen. But the reality of the physiology of losing weight is that we talk about in the first week or 2 is that your biochemistry in your blood starts to change. And then from there, until you see an actual physical change, it can take 4 weeks or more. So, and that's why Clint and I have always been really strong on, we don't want you guys to weight yourselves. We don't want you guys to worry too much about pictures every single week. Last year, we had some amazing results that every single week we could see a difference. But that can put a lot of pressure on you. So do not stress, because to be honest, even 8 weeks is not a massive amount of time. You might not see results in 8 weeks either, but you feel a lot better. So what I want you guys to think about when you're tracking your progress is bathroom schedule. First thing, bathroom schedule. Your mind is clear. You're working a lot better throughout the day. That's a thing that your food makes a massive difference. You're not foggy throughout the day. You don't like struggle to work. You don't have the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock crash. You're feeling better. You're thinking better. That goes from the reaction between your gut and your brain, but also foods, and the good foods that I got you guys to eat make a massive difference in your brain function. Another thing is your urine as well is really important. It's coming out clear. It doesn't stink, because that all comes with having your body really stressed. If you're burning too much muscle, you can actually smell it. When we're getting into overtraining, we can smell it as well, because you have extra creatinine in your urine. But also, if you have extra sugar and your blood sugar levels are a little bit higher, you can smell it as well. So puffiness in your face, puffiness in your waist area, that's all cortisol, as well as your stress hormone. But also little things like, am I getting annoyed when I get home and my children are coming to talk to me because my body is so stressed and I'm so tired because I'm under eating or I'm overeating? The food is just not working for me. Am I coming home from training, I get to train and I get to work, but when I'm coming home, I'm exhausted? Or am I jumping around, cooking dinner, and then going for a walk with the dogs? You know, and these are things that I go through as well. Sometimes when I stop paying attention to the things that I'm doing, I can still perform at training, but I can't go out with the dogs because I'm exhausted. I train, work, because that's my performance, and I know that's my performance, but I stop paying attention to the performance around me. And that's when we go back to our social family aspects that are really important. So what we want from this challenge is that for you guys to be better people in every aspect. So being with your family, sorry, I'm just reading Glenn's. I should stop reading the comments. Being with your family, having energy to play around with your family. See you, Glenn. Thank you.
Thanks, Garcia.
Having time and energy to be with your family. You know, sometimes we feel guilty because we're stressed and we blowing out, like just getting angry with the dogs, with the kids around the house. That's your body's telling you that you're exhausted. Your body's telling you that you need energy, that you're not eating properly, that you're not resting properly. I'm sure Clint's going to talk to you about resting as well, because he loves resting. But these are the things that I want you guys to notice, okay? Energy levels, bathroom schedule, clear mind, performance during training. Did you used to train, I don't know, 30 minutes, and then on like 40 minutes or so you're crashing, but now you can train for an hour and a half and you like jumping around at the end of it. These are things that are going to make a difference. One of the posts from the week about the meals was that I think it was oats in the morning, and they noticed that their gut feels a lot better, but they also have a lot more energy throughout the day. That's really important. I really want you guys to pay attention to that and really take the little wins, because if you think about it, they're not that little, you know. Weight loss for me is very little. Being able to play with our family, being able to be happy around our family, be able to train better, be able to perform better at work, be able to study better is way better than just losing weight. Okay? Are we good with that? Any questions? Any troubles that anyone has to track anything? Does anyone have a diary or a way of keeping things?
Yeah, I keep a journal.
Yeah, and what type of things are you writing down?
I just write the 3 things that went well for me today every day, and then my
Nice.
food diary as well.
Good. That's really good. Those little wins of every day as well are really important, because it might sound silly, because I write down a diary for my training as well, and sometimes I'm having a terrible day and I didn't train well, I didn't hit any of the times that I wanted to, but my tumble turns were really good in the swimming pool, and I write that down because you know what, my body's about to crash, I'm tired, it's that time of my training session or my training period, but I still have those wins. And they're really important because when you look back, you look at things that now you think you weren't performing well, but next time in a year, you're going to be like, look, this was what I thought it was good. Look how far I've come. So that's really important. Those little wins are really, really important. So detach yourself from body image and body weight, and that will come naturally. I know it's frustrating. For you, the guys that were here last year, I was finishing up a master's degree. I was extremely stressed. I haven't lost a kilo, but my face is completely different. All my clothes fit me again. And that was stress. And it took me a year, and I'm still not feeling like I used to before that master's degree. And I'm doing a PhD, so I'll probably feel horrible again. But I was so stressed, and I wasn't eating that much. I was actually eating very little. I was living on caffeine and wine, and it took me a year to start feeling like myself again. So please be patient. And like, we're talking about a body that has been training high level since she's 7 years old. I eat really, really well compared to most people, but my body took a year to recover from a very stressful period. So be patient. If you think of how long you've been neglecting your body and your body functions for, how many years have you not paid attention to what your poo's doing? How many years have you not paid attention to how much rest you're doing? How many years have you not paid attention to how many portions of veggies you're having on your plate? Now, slow down and take your time to regain that time and, really win the little wins. So we just need to be patient. Our body's great with that. Sometimes we can neglect our body for 40 years and it will respond in a year or two. That's pretty good, because imagine if we neglected for 40 years and had to wait another 40 years. That would not be good. But be patient with your body, because it does take a while. And what you need to do, and that's why we're talking about not giving up and having the long-lasting changes, because what we're doing now, Clint and I and our look with the mindset thing, is that we're building stronger bodies and minds for you to live longer and healthier. So I'm getting your guts to work well. I'm getting your muscles to perform well. I'm getting everything to just perform better. So for the next years, you're eating, your body's performing well, is digesting food properly, is dealing with stress properly, is dealing with those inflammatory foods when you have it every now and then properly. Okay. So think about building a stronger body for the next few years. Don't think about the right now. Cool?
Very good.
I talk about the long lasting, but that's the changes we want to see, is that mindset of what you're after and just being patient with what you're trying to achieve. Peter is a great example of that. He can't see it. I can see it, how the belly is getting shredded. But it's hard to see it on yourself because you're looking at yourself every day. But people notice. I can see a half smile there. Look at that. He could never smile before. But this is really important. I really want you guys to be patient and really feel the difference in other ways. That will make you feel a lot better as well and help you push longer. So is Craig here? Greg's brother? No? He had a question as well. The last bit, do we have any questions about what I've talked about? No? The last thing was about the meals and ideas and swaps and merging meals together. So one of the questions I had was Craig. He's used to fasting. So with the 6 meals, he thinks it's too much. You can definitely merge your meals. So I don't eat 6 times a day either because I don't have the time for it. So you can have your breakfast and then have a protein smoothie on the side, because that way you're having your snack and your breakfast together. The plan is meant to work for you however you like to work. I love food in the morning, so I'm having my lunch at 9 a.m. and I'm happy with it. So make it work for you. If you're trying to if you're trying to fast, hardcore fasting, I don't promote it. Not promote it, but I don't. I just find it stressful for your body. Oh, here's Glenn again. But the time restricted eating can help. If you guys want to try starting with 8 hours, it's okay. So 8 hours of eating and then whatever's left, 16 hours of not eating. 16, 18, 8, 16. Yeah, that's it. So that would be, for example, you eat from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and that's fine. And you can definitely fit all your meals in there into 3 or 4 meals. You don't have to have 6 meals. Okay. One thing that can work really well is finding recipes in Pinterest or whatever it is and fitting that into your plan and fitting that with your fats, your extras, your veggies. And if you have any questions, send it in the group. I got this recipe and it has this as fat. Can I swap it? And I tell you how much you can use. The only thing that might change is that usually these recipes use a lot more fat than what we're using for our plan, but we can definitely work with that. It's not going to be that beautiful recipe, but it still works really well and we can adapt to that. I don't know if I have any ideas. I think one of my favorites is making curry. As the paste, I actually boil carrots and I blend the carrots and then ginger, turmeric, and I make it with the coconut milk, coconut cream. And I think that's why I always have coconut cream in the fats. So I don't know. Does anyone have more ideas of super interesting meals? I had one athlete from Body Science. He's a really high level athlete, and he somehow with his breakfast, he made French toast every morning with his breakfast. I think it was like using the egg and he obviously didn't have butter to fry, but whatever it was delicious as well. So be creative with it. You can really play around, and that's the whole point of it, is you being able to find what you can do with that plan so you're not stuck with horrible things. Swaps, can you guys think of anything that you're not eating at the moment that you like to be eating, and how can I fit that into your plan?
Bacon.
No.
Shit.
Bacon is your discretionary food. You can have it on your weekend,
it's for all
looking at the
meals
ocean.
of the day.
Hello, Megan. Who's that one? Is it?
This one's my daughter now.
Hello.
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 Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Can we think of anything that you're not eating at the moment that you like to be eating?
Tatiana, I have one. Sorry, I just came back.
Yeah.
It's Glenn here. It's taro. I think Australia call it yam.
Yeah,
Yep.
love it. You can have it same amount as your potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same amount.
Same amount is the same. Taro, cassava, potatoes, very similar. Taro just has
Wow.
a few more antioxidants and a lot more fiber as well. But yeah, same amount as your potatoes, Glenn.
Okay.
Glenn, I've been telling my rugby boys for years that that until they drop a certain amount of weight, they're not allowed to eat taro at all.
Ah, my heart.
Well, that's tell you that is to do with the fact that half of them are about 65 kilos overweight, and the consumption of the amount of taro is the problem.
I think the fried chicken will be more of a problem than the taro, but
Yeah.
Anything else?
So T, can you explain? This is a legitimate question. This is not from anyone else. Before you said about the combining of your meals together, like having meal 1 and meal 2 together, and so on and so forth, right? What's the thought process at the moment, or how we sit research-wise at the moment on what happens to your metabolic rate during the day if you eat more regularly or you eat less regularly?
That we used to think that eating only 3 times a day would drop your metabolic rate. They haven't been able to prove that. What the last studies have been shown is that your metabolic rate and the way your body deals with food actually decreases at night, which is something that I don't want to fill anyone's head with it at the moment. But what we found is that you can have the same meal at 8 a.m. and the same meal at 8 p.m. And at 8 p.m., your blood sugar levels will spike a lot more, cholesterol, same thing. So your body is getting into sleeping mode. And because your cortisol is dropping, so you get ready to sleep, it actually deals with fat and sugar in not as efficiently. And that's why for a lot of people, the time restricted eating really helps, because if you're eating until 6, 7 p.m., it really, really helps. But I don't want to stress anyone out with that, especially someone like Matt, that there's not much we can do. He works shift and there's not much we can do. But definitely we haven't been able to prove that it makes a massive difference, no.
Okay.
Especially if you're eating a lot of fiber and that's staying in your system for a little while and your body's dealing with that for a fair few hours, like a bowl of oats, for example, up to 6-7 hours. So we don't have any research to show that will slow down because you're eating less times. Rice noodles better than regular noodles. So when you buy noodles, read the ingredient list. Noodles, I find noodles incredible for everyone because they're easy, they cook super quickly, and most of them, if you read the ingredients, it's basically just rice and water. A few of the yellow noodles will have eggs. It's okay. Just have a look at the ingredient list and see if they have an extra fat or something in there and compare it by 100 grams. So instead of doing a serving size, compare the 100-gram part of the table, because then it's consistent. And see if it has a lot more fat than what the pure rice noodle would have. Does that make sense? Yeah. So with noodles, always read the ingredients, but they're really good because they're easy to cook. The things with the ones that come semi-cooked already is that they have a lot more preservatives in them, whereas the really cheap ones that like they're $1 each and you look at it's just rice, it's great. And it cooks really quickly.
And they taste good too. That's moderately
Yeah.
important.
I make like a little salad I put it into a glass jar. I make a salad with heaps of spices and the noodles, and I just put boiling water and let it sit for 15 minutes, and that's my lunch. So yeah, I think noodles are really easy. That's why I always put them there as well, because sometimes it's easy if you don't have time to cook rice, you can just take the noodles to work and they cook pretty quickly.
Tat, once on the Body Science website recently, they had a thing about restricted eating, and it said you can do 16-8 or 14-10, and then it said, but the better way to do it is to have 2 days where you go really low on calories in 2 out of a week, and that was on the Body Science website. So I assume that came from you. So
no, it didn't.
Oh.
No, it did not.
We have a few of the articles are still mine, but we have a company that we have someone that's helping with the articles. But what they do is that they find how can I say this? They find like what the internet is talking about, and they find the best studies. So I guess in terms of what they found in studies with results, that 2 day without eating, I think it's 2 and 5, isn't it?
2 and 5.
I just don't think that's easy to do, because if you think about it, are you going to do 2 days that you're working and you're going to crash your work, or you're going to do your 2 days on your weekend when you're meant to be having a good time with your family? I just find it really hard. The thing with the time restricted eating, a lot of studies compare the time restricted eating with the keto diet as well, and the very low calorie diet. The time restricted eating was a lot easier because people could adapt to it quickly. And live easy without losing too much. And that's why I talk, when we look at studies of weight loss, especially, all the studies that show really good results are those ones that, and we don't talk about it because they're all clinical studies, but the reality is when you look at them, all the ones that work the best and that people keep the weight off is the diets that don't affect their social, emotional, and family aspects so much. The keto is really hard. Like, are you going to get your kids to eat keto? And then are you going to watch your kids having pasta and you have to have bacon and avocado? You know what I mean? It's sad, but the time restricted eating is something that some people can fit into it. So the thing with weight loss and diets and a lot of the studies is knowing how to read the studies as well. I know you're pretty good at it. But look at the things that see results. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the actual diet, but a lot more to do with how people can keep it up.
Okay, it was just the one that was promoted through.
Sorry.
Yeah. You will always find that there is, there are varying ideas too. Just because what Tat and I think and what others think, right, will certainly vary, right? Like, I think one of the biggest dramas that I have, like especially when it comes to the training side, which is obviously my forte, but is that somebody will say this is the best booty exercise on the planet, right? And then the next person will say this is the best booty exercise on the planet. And then I turn around and go, well, why don't we train the whole body and not just work on somebody's bum, because then we're just creating another imbalance, Yeah. So everyone has different ideas about how things. And look, I mean, maybe in an ideal world that method might work. You might be able to have your 2 down days of training during the week. I think there's definitely a way to work through certain things and trial different ways. But I mean, from the overall viewpoint, Tat uses the science. Sometimes, prior to science comes the guesswork side of things, where people try certain things and then the research starts to happen post that. So, there will be articles that sneak onto the Body Science website, and even things that I've probably said or Tat's probably said earlier in our career that are now not true, or we've found a better method because different research. So, so don't take one article as gospel is my opinion.
He knows that really well. He likes to challenge us. Look at him. That's when he smiles. I think for me is always, even though I love public health and you guys know that, everything to do with exercise and diet is very individual. As Glenn was saying, like, that can be the best booty workout, but it's going to wreck your knees and you're going to have to rest for three months because you got chondromalacia on your knees from squatting to the ground too much. Great booty, but for 3 months rest is not going to keep it up. It's going to come down eventually. So it's whatever works for you guys. And again, in every aspect, exercise and diet is about being stronger and being healthier overall. There's no point in doing something that works really well for someone else, but it's making your body weaker. Sorry, I'm just trying to read. Can we please recap for the first time challenges, the top 3 they should have done by now for nutrition and Clint? Can you read that, Clint? My brain's not working anymore.
I can ask it in
tried
person.
to read it so many times.
Yeah.
Let me ask it in person.
I'll do my part. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, for the first time challenges, and there's a lot of people doing the challenge that will see a replay and they may not get the chance to come here and ask a question. I want to ask people, ask yourself, this is your first webinar, what's the top 3 things that they should have done for nutrition by now? Like, obviously, things like print out the meal plan and work out. I'll let you answer it. But, for those people that aren't here, what's the top 3 things that they should have done by now?
Understand the food plan. If you haven't, you really need to ask me, because that's the whole point of me being here. Fall in love with food again and learn how to start eating real food again. And from there, things will flow a lot easier. And then we have our little lessons in the middle of it. The first thing, understand the plan and how it will work for you. If you have any questions, ask me. Fall in love with food again in every aspect that I talked about, not just for you, but your family and everyone around you, and learn how to eat whole foods again.
And then for me, let's just hit the training side of things. I guess the biggest part is just getting moving. You know, some people are sending me, you know, individual videos to correct technique and those kind of things. Like, absolutely keep those kind of things coming, guys. But the big part is, you know, and the guys who might be struggling at this stage, it's about doing something. You know, the concept of this challenge is not like some of the others where, you know, we're saying you've got to do, you know, 30 hours of training a week to drop body fat. You know, the concept here is that we want you, if all you can muster on that day is 15 minutes of training, then do 15 minutes. Like, you know, that's not, you know, the important part here is starting to change habits. You know, today I had a pretty busy day, so, you know, the only thing I actually got in other than walking the dog was 30 minutes in the ocean. But that's just the way some weeks go, and so the way some days go. So you've got to look at certain ways to get that right. But I think one of the biggest pieces for me around, you know, the idea of training is that 1 minute is better than no minutes, and you know, whatever you can keep adding to, we'll just keep that pushing forward in the right direction, and that's what we really want here. Whether it's today or by the end of the 8 weeks, you know, it should realistically be about, you know, you being better, 1% better today than you were yesterday.
Any more questions? Someone's typing.
Who won the meal photo competition?
I should have put it up today, but Ant didn't help me. No, I forgot that yesterday was a public holiday, so we'll put it tomorrow. But I'm feeling that, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel that the engagement is not as high this year, and I was wondering if you guys that were here last year, if you have any feedback. I don't know, I feel like I'm letting you guys down in some way, because I don't feel that everyone is as motivated as last year. You guys have been really helpful, and everyone answers questions really well, which is great. It's super positive. There's no negativity, but I feel like it's not as engaging as it was last year.
Yes.
Tad, I was going to say, I think it's the same. Excuse me, you can tell I'm sick. The same people doing that from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually, we actually had 400 people sign up, but I feel that the engagement is coming from you guys and probably max 10 new people, which have been great. But we had 400 people sign up, and I really feel that we're missing that, you know, that passion that you guys had last year.
Yeah, I don't know. As I said, I think it's all the same people that are doing the posting and the engaging and the talking on it. I don't know if they're feeling a bit, I don't know.
Shy.
Yeah. What if we did a little poll or something like that in the Facebook group? You know?
Yeah, like a show of hands who's still in.
Yeah. Just say what everyone needs.
I know, Peter, it's not, I won't judge people by the photos. I mean, having a nice photo is nice to see what the food is there, but I want people to engage. I really do. Last year, you nearly won a challenge. You just didn't win because I asked for breakfast and you posted a dinner, but your answer was perfect. But it's really we want people to make mistakes, including me and Clint, you know, like we're in this together. And we're not going to pretend that we're super coaches. Like, we're all humans, and it's normal, you know, to make mistakes and take photos that we can't don't think is good enough. But and it, like, you guys saw my meal wasn't pretty, but it was very nutritious. I was very proud of it, especially because the eggs came from my super healthy chickens. So yeah, that, like, no one really can get it wrong. The questions are really what's going to help everyone. So I hope other people are actually listening to this one and will engage with us. Because last year was really incredible, the results, but I think it's because everyone was really engaged, you know. I think that made a massive difference. Yeah, Andrea has been great with her training videos. It actually motivates me a lot because I haven't been to the gym at all lately. I just run and swim now. Any more questions?
I think we need to see a full video of Andrea's dancing.
I think so too. I nearly a dancer somehow. Dancers just have this like perfect pose. I literally roll around in my life, and like the dancers just like they just have this pose. It's so perfect. I love it. No more questions. I'll let everyone go back to their families. Thank you so much. I'll post a little challenge again. I'll post the video, and please send as many questions as you have. One big thing for this week, I'll put a post up, is food swaps. So if you have any questions about food swaps, please write on the comments. Cool? Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
See you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Great week.
Thanks, Anthony.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Clint.
Bye. Bye.
Stop recording.